This is Juan Brown on the blancolirio channel with a quick update on the tragic loss of Giant Flight 3591, the Amazon Prime freighter 767-300 that was lost yesterday en route to Houston International Airport. That was yesterday, 23 February at about 12:40 local. I'm a commercial pilot on the 777, currently FO right seat position, and have several thousand hours in the Boeing 767 aircraft. NTSB crews are en route or on the scene now and will have a preliminary media report later on this afternoon, 24 February. There's very little that we know about this accident at this time other than there was a very violent and sudden descent from about 6,000 feet into the ground in over a time of about 15 or so seconds. Though this is an Amazon Prime aircraft painted up in Amazon Prime, it is operated by Atlas. Atlas is an air cargo outfit here in the United States. 3 crew members were on board the aircraft. Pilot, a co-pilot, and the third crew member was a jump seater. A jump seater is somebody like me trying to get to work. We have reciprocal jump seat privileges, and if there's an empty seat available, or the jump seat, that's the third seat in between the 2 pilots, if that's available, other pilots can ride in that jump seat. Though the flight data recorders have not yet been recovered from the wreckage, since this aircraft was operating in radar-controlled airspace, we do have preliminary radar return data from the incident. Here, I'll help you take a look at this data. Looking here at the FlightAware flight data, the flight departed Miami Airport about 11:33 Eastern Time and heading to Houston Intercontinental Airport, descending normally on the Link 1 arrival. While on the arrival, there was some discussion about this line of weather that was between the aircraft and the airport. Talk about possible vectors around this weather. But the aircraft went down long before it approached this weather. The radar data from the flight indicated a very normal flight and descent into Houston, with the exception of the last 15 seconds or so of the flight. This data tracks altitude and ground speed. Here's what the aircraft looks like in prime air colors. Here's the altitude data derived from the radar track, showing a normal descent to 6,000 feet and then a very sudden descent from 6,000 feet to loss of radar tracking at about 3,000 feet. But the loss of altitude from 6,000 feet to the loss of radar tracking was only about 12 seconds. Here's the vertical speed data from the last 1 minute of the flight derived from the radar data, showing level flight 0 feet per minute. And then within the last 12 seconds or so of the flight, before losing radar contact, vertical speeds exceeding 25,000 feet per minute in the last 12 seconds of flight. Here's the ATC conversation from VASAviation, overlaid with the flight radar tracking. Coming in from Miami.
Good afternoon, Giant 3591, 17-8 descending via the Link, and we have Sierra.
The Link is the name of the arrival. They're going to fly.
591 heavy. There's a little bit of light, well, now it's showing a little bit of heavy, light to heavy precipitation just west of, it looks like, Van, and it is moving east-south. So once you get in closer, if we need to go vectors around it, we'll be able to accommodate that.
So there is some discussion between the controllers and the flight crew regarding this line of weather here, whether they want to come and vector them around it for a landing at Houston International rather than stay on the arrival. The data block here has the altitude. He's currently at 15,900 feet. The ground speed 310 knots, and the vertical speed 964 feet, vertical feet per minute down. Almost 1,000 feet per minute descent rate, which is perfectly normal. Now they're starting their turn on the arrival. 2,000 feet per minute. They slow down the track here. 2,500 feet per minute. 3,000 feet per minute rate of descent. 4,000 foot rate of descent. 6,000 feet. 5,000 foot rate of descent. 240 knots. The speed is consistent throughout this descent. 7,000 feet per minute rate of descent when radar contact is lost at 3,000 feet.
If you pick up an ELT at all ahead, if you would.
There's no calls from the distress aircraft.
31, negative ELT, have a good day.
They're checking for an emergency locator transmitter.
You got a 1788, safe flight conditions there?
That's 1788 where I am probably moderate chop. You know, 1788.
Yeah, 1788, thanks.
That means he's in the weather and it's a little choppy. Moderate choppy. Now they're looking for...
591 Heavy, Houston.
Giant 3591 Heavy, Houston approach, how do you hear?
And negative contact with Giant 3591. The debris field so far is going to tell us a lot, and the NTSB will know a lot more about this once they get on the scene. This 767-300 was built in 1992 and first was pressed into service with China Southern Airlines and then went to LAN Chile Airlines around 1997. Then went to the CIT Leasing Corporation and came to Atlas Air, at which point I would assume would have been converted to a freighter in 2016. The approximate hours on this aircraft were 90,000 hours and 28,000 cycles. Those numbers need to be verified. A cycle is each time the aircraft takes off and lands. So that's all we know about the tragic loss of Giant Flight 3591 as of this time. Anything else is just pure speculation. We'll know more soon once the NTSB gets on the ground and gives us some more information. I'm particularly concerned about the size of this debris field. Did it indicate an in-flight breakup or not? The Boeing 767 aircraft is one of the greatest airliners that Boeing has ever built that I've ever had the privilege of operating. And in my recollection, I cannot recall any history of a Boeing 767 suffering an in-flight breakup or structural failure, and nor can I recall any history of the Boeing 767 series of aircraft suffering any flight control malfunctions. We'll know more soon. Stay tuned. See you here.